Hello, chaperones. This is a chance for us to share information to help you with your stay at the Great New York State Fair. The first thing we'll do is we'll talk about the staff that's in our youth building. Tom Davis is the overall 4-H and youth building coordinator. Other folks that will be available at State Fair are Andy Turner, our New York State 4-H program leader. Dana Palmer handles all the animal science. Debbie Grunzenmeyer is the dairy coordinator. She's also the person to talk to if you have youth that will be staying in the dairy barns. Pam Castro handles our youth building evaluations. There's myself, Autumn Levine. I am the assistant coordinator for the building. I oversee all the junior superintendents and the team leaders. And then Nigel Gannon, who is 4-H staff from the state office. He is also a youth building assistant coordinator. So as a chaperone, your major responsibilities really kind of follow this list. So make sure that you have a chance to read and be familiar with the info on the go, which can be found on the logistics page of the New York State 4-H website. I'm going to try to open that right now. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it will like us. So this is the info on the go packet that you can find on the website. It has all of the information that you could need to be a chaperone. It also has more information about contact information and contact numbers, what's expected while you're in the booths, and other such important information that you may need while you are at the state fair. So please refer to that if you need it. In addition to the info on the go, there's also the guide for 4-H staff. Again, that can be found on the New York State 4-H website. The other expectations as a chaperone is you are there to uphold the New York State 4-H Code of Conduct. Everyone, adults and youth, have had to sign that Code of Conduct, which includes making sure that you create a welcoming environment, obeying the law, creating a safe environment for all youth who are participating, and being a positive role model, amongst other things that are listed in that Code of Conduct. Please make sure that you review that and that you're holding the youth and adults to those standards. That's very important to the success of our program and creating a positive image to the public while we are at the New York State Fair, as well as in your counties. Other responsibilities include supervising youth at all program functions, recreation activities, and in the dorms. If your kids are going out on the grounds, the expectation as a chaperone is that you are with them, you know where they are. The fairgrounds are not necessarily always a safe place. Youth are never encouraged to be out on the grounds by themselves, as it is much safer for them to be at least in pairs, preferably in larger groups. Other aspects can be help supervising all the participants in the building. This helps us to ensure that the health and safety of all our participants is being followed. If there are any issues or emergencies, please make sure that you report to the youth building staff. Staff are always located in the 4-H office in the center of the building. That's where you can find myself, Tom Davis, as well as the state 4-H staff. Review emergency procedures, emergency exits with your kids, where you're going to meet if there's an emergency. I'll talk about that a little bit more. After 10:30 p.m., youth must be under the supervision of a chaperone. That includes in the youth building itself. Curfew is 10:30. Lights out is 11 o'clock. If your kids are in the booth, they need to have a chaperone with them when they are downstairs in the youth building. That is for their safety as well as the safety of the building and the safety of our exhibits. So please keep that in mind. Your duties while you are chaperoning. Make sure you help them check in. The dorm only accepts $1 bills or 4 quarters. They do not make change. That is for your buttons that allow you to get upstairs if you need to use the bathrooms per se during the day. Make sure that you attend the chaperone orientation and that your youth are attending their orientation. Lots of really good information is shared at those times, and so we want to make sure everybody is present. Make sure you check in with your kids every day. You know where they are. You know what activities they're working on. Make sure your youth are in the dorms before lights out. And after lights out, it is your responsibility as a chaperone to be asking people to keep it quiet, make sure that they're not on their phones after that 11 o'clock. That's disturbing to others, and it's okay, even if it's not the youth you're responsible for, to say something to them, to be respectful of all of the other people that stay in the dorms. So let's keep that in mind so that we're keeping everybody in check and make sure that they're being responsible and respectful of others. Chaperones must stay in the dorms with their assigned youth. Youth cannot stay in the dorms without a chaperone. Again, make sure our youth are settled in to their bunks at night. Encourage your kids to take part in county activities as well as the other activities both inside and outside of the youth building. There's a lot of great stuff going on. A lot of things can be learned, a lot of really great experiences. So encourage your kids to do that. State Fair is a great time to learn new things and to meet new people. And know where your youth are at all times. Texting is great. I do that with the junior supers so I know where they are, whether they're on duty or off duty. Please take note that you as a chaperone have the authority to make decisions in the absence of staff or other key volunteers. If there is an issue, you need to notify the lead educator for your county or Tom Davis or myself as soon as that occurs or as soon as you can. Chaperones must and do have the responsibility to intervene in situations that violate the rules, and any serious problems can be reported to your county educator, to Tom Davis, and if it concerns the dorms, you can notify Sarah Antes, who is our dorm coordinator. Up in the dorms. So entry to the dorms is only through the main doors at the center of the building. Those doors get locked and are manned from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Youth need to be with a chaperone if they are outside of the building during those hours. If you have a kid that needs to get up early to go milk a goat, they need to have a chaperone that travels with them to the goat barns to make sure they make it there safely. They also will be asked to sign in and out at those doors during those hours. If they're entering after hours, that you must come in those center doors. Curfew again is 10:30. Please review the dorm rules and regulations with your kids so they know what the expectations are. I already talked a little bit about sign out procedures. They have to sign out, they have to sign in. If they're traveling with a different chaperone and you want to check the list in the morning, you can do that to see what time your kids came back, but they have to be with an adult chaperone. Up in the dorms, we have the blue light security system. This is not a joke. The blue light security system, if activated, notifies police, fire, security from all over the fairgrounds, and they will respond very, very quickly. This is for extreme emergencies only. So please advise your kids, do not push those buttons unless there is a true emergency and reason to do that. We do have an elevator available in the building. This is primarily for handicap usage. I know that a lot of you are going to bring in lots of luggage. Our preference is that you're not using those elevators in excess. It is only for handicap usage, or in the case that you have a lot of stuff that needs to be transported, but really they're not meant for everyday up and down kind of usage. Please note that the building has had a lot of renovations done to it. State Fair has taken a lot of time and has put a lot of money into the building to try and repair things. So please ask your teens to refrain from any kind of graffiti on the walls or any type of things that may cause damage. Shower drains. Please keep in mind that it's our responsibility to try and make sure that we keep our bathrooms as clean as we can. We do have a cleaning crew that comes in, but especially ladies who have long hair, or even gentlemen who have longer hair, if there's a lot of hair in the shower drain after you take a shower, clean that out of there. It's really important. They get clogged very easily, and we really don't want to spend an awful lot of time having to call the plumbers from the grounds. They can't respond immediately to our requests as they have a lot going on, so please make sure that you do that. Extension cords and outlet bars are discouraged. They can be a hazard. We don't want people tripping. I know this is inconvenient, but please don't plug them in. If they are found to be plugged in, they may be unplugged and confiscated. They are not safe. Even if they are taped to the floor, it is not considered safe. If you have personal items, make sure they are locked in lockers. Things do disappear. Your cell phones, do not plug them into those center posts and leave them. If it needs to charge, you need to be where you can see it so that it doesn't walk away. Things have disappeared, and usually that results in having to file a formal report with the police, and we really would prefer not to have to do that. So please keep track of your items. There is no bed switching, no switching of bunk numbers, If you need to do that for some reason, for instance, if a child is switching to a different chaperone, that needs to go through the dormitory office and have that officially changed on their paperwork. If there is an emergency, we need to locate the kids. We need to locate adults. So that means even if you're going home for an evening, you need to let the dorm staff know. If there's an emergency and we find an empty bed and we can't account for that person, we have to start looking for them. There's also no tenting, which means for those of you that are from a few years ago, we used to be able to put sheets up or towels to kind of block out the light. You cannot do that. The fire marshals will ask us to take those down. You will be asked to take them down if that is found. It is a fire hazard. In addition to that, just so that you know, all of the exits upstairs in the dorms are alarmed. So if anyone is leaving through those doors, the alarms will go off. They are quite loud, so we prefer folks do not use those exits unless there is an emergency. So the youth building emergency and fire procedures, we do have a fire drill once every rotation. The meeting spot for everyone in the youth building is the FFA building. So if you exit the youth building through the main entrance, you would go to the right down to the roadway near Solvay Fire, and then go to the left and head on down to the FFA building. If you're a new chaperone or you just need to be review where that building is, please do so when you're on the grounds. That is where everyone is to meet if there is a fire or other emergency in which the building must be evacuated. Emergency exits, there are designated doors in each area of the building that they can exit through for both the dormitories as well as downstairs. Again, those doors are all alarmed. If there is a medical emergency in the building, please notify Tom Davis or someone in the 4-H office ASAP. If it's a real emergency, the quickest response is to go on down to Solvay Fire. They are at the end of the building, just outside the doors where the baby chick display is. They can handle anything from as simple as a Band-Aid all the way up to a major medical emergency. That is our quickest response for our building, and we're very lucky to have them outside of our building for that purpose. If you do need something as simple as a Band-Aid, the 4-H office usually has a first aid kit for those types of things. So visit us first before you go down and ask those folks. Other things to keep track of, the feed room. The feed room is there for everyone's usage. It is expected that we be respectful of other people's things. Make sure your stuff is labeled very well. Not to say people would help themselves, but it does happen if things aren't labeled. If you're using that room, clean up after yourself. If something bubbles over in the microwave, clean it up. And this includes the kids. Make sure your kids know they're responsible for cleaning up their own messes. It is not the job of the junior supers or state staff or those of us who are helping to operate the building to clean up those types of things. The demo kitchen is available if it's reserved. Most of the time it is set aside for the junior supers to have dinner, but if you need to use it before that time or it's available after our dinner time, which is usually from 5 to 7 in the evening, you can reserve it for that, but we do need that room vacated so the junior supers can eat. Again, it's clean up after yourself. Make sure you are cleaning up. Our building really depends on all our volunteers, all our kids, all of our staff working together to keep it clean and keep a good image for the public. So make sure you're cleaning up after yourselves. 4-H office is located in the center of the building. That's where you can find Tom or myself or the state staff. If you have any questions or if you are in need of participation ribbons, those types of things, our offices are located there. And then the last thing is we do make periodic announcements in the building. It is imperative that you hear those announcements, especially when it comes to wrapping up evaluations of items in your booth. So please make sure that you are listening for those announcements. I recognize that they are difficult to hear, so if you didn't hear it, just wander down to the office or send a youth to check out and say, hey, what was just said? What's going on? We didn't quite hear that. Tom, myself, and the state staff and Pam Castro and all of us there that are working in the building, we're there to help you. So anytime you have questions, please come down and ask us. We are more than happy to help. We want to make sure that the kids are having a good learning experience and enjoying their time while they're at the state fair. So again, if you have questions, please let us know, and we can hopefully help you out. And we look forward to seeing all of you and having a great fair. So we'll see you at the fair.